Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about Twilight Masquerade and some of the problems I see with this set, and also just go over the initial release, some of the surprises, and some of the not so surprising things that have happened with a lot of the cards. So, obviously, we have the Greninja EX leading the way up top. You have Carmine and Perrin, SIR trainer cards up there as well. Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, the Eevee, Teal Mask Ogerpon, Buddy Buddy Poffin. Kieran, Lana's Aid, a couple other Ogerpon masks, Sinistra, Dragapult EX, again, a couple more Ogerpons. So that's the top, 10, 15 cards in the set. And starting off, we'll look at the Greninja. So, as you can tell by the video, one of my gripes with Twilight Masquerade is there really just is no big chase card. Now, some people argue that the Greninja is a chase card. Greninja is popular, but to say that Greninja is on par with something like a Lugia, like a Charizard, like an Umbreon, or anything else from Sword and Shield, even like a Machamp V, like maybe it's on par with that. But again, I don't see this Greninja card being anything massive long term. Now, maybe it's going to hold over $100 in 3 to 6 months. Time will tell, right? Like, the only card I imagine that could hold over $100 is going to be this Greninja. I don't think Carmine's going to hold over 100. Perrin's already under 100. All of these other cards are well under 100 already. So if there is going to be one card in this set that holds, it will be the Greninja EX. It is a very cool artwork. It is an SIR, so it's going to be harder to pull than, a regular IR card. But as you can see, it came out the gate, tanked down to like the 120. It's been pumped back up to around 150. Sales today, 160, 160, 147 essentially. So it is on the rise, but we will see in 3 to 6 months what happens with the Greninja. Next up, Carmine. Again, this one came out the gate, tanked below 100 down to 80. It's back up to 120. Again, sales today, 118, 118, 130. We're going to have to see. I don't think this one's going to hold. And, the parent as well is already well under $100. It did come out the gate lower and seems to be climbing and finding a point, but we'll see in 3 to 6 months what happens. But one of my big gripes with waifu in Scarlet and Violet era, again, I'm not a huge waifu guy. I really just, it's whatever to me, but I understand there's a market for it, right? So it's an important thing to consider when we are looking at these sets as investment vehicles. To me, the waifu cards in Scarlet and Violet are not as good as Sword and Shield, and definitely not as good as Sun and Moon. I think Sun and Moon era, at least for me subjectively, had the best waifu cards. You look at stuff like the Lily, really strong cards. The Carmine, I love the artwork. Like, to me, the artworks are much better, but in terms of just like the waifu esque to it, the attraction that those people who like those cards are going to have, and be really interested in the cards, it's just not as prevalent here in Scarlet and Violet. So I don't think from a waifu investment standpoint that these cards are going to do as well long term as some of the other eras like Sun and Moon waifu did. But again, they are cool cards. They add a bit of depth to the set, but not a ton, right? If it was something like a Lily where it was a very popular character, it was a very interesting artwork from that perspective, you could understand why it would be a big card. But I imagine Carmine's going to drop below $100 in the next 3 to 6 months. Perrin's already under 100. I don't imagine it's going to go above $100. And then again, everything else is already tanking, right? Like the Blood Moon Ursaluna is down to, basically 55, $60. It was out the gate around 100. It's already down to less than $60. Sales today in that $57 range. So maybe it's going to stabilize, maybe not. Again, it is an SIR. I've seen people say that this is their chase. For the set, understandable if you've played the DLC why you'd be interested in this, but for a lot of people, they're just not going to be fans of this card. I also saw some people trying to pump Tatsugiri before the set released. I did think it was going to be, potentially an interesting card to watch and see what happens. It seems like someone tried to pump this out the gate. We're down below $10, came up to around $17.50, already down below $12. And again, if you look at sales, $10, $12, $10.50, so it's in that range. I don't think this is going to go crazy like the Magikarp or anything like that. So when we look at Twilight Masquerade, this is my problem with the set. There is just no top chase. Like, again, we can argue that Greninja maybe is a chase, and sure, maybe it holds over $100, but the Carmine's going to drop below. The Perrin's already below. A lot of these cards, like the Ursaluna, the Ogre Pond cards you've already heard me talk about, are just dog shit in my opinion. The EV is around $45 right now. I imagine this EV is going to be like $15, $10, $15 when all is said and done. I really think people are hyping this way too much. When I was looking at the cards from Mask of Change, I believe the EV in Japanese was like $10 after release or something like that. And when I saw that, I just kind of figured that it wasn't going to be anything special, even in English. I don't know what the price is now. It could be completely different from that. But again, yeah, if we see the Ghastly from Temporal Forces is only like 15, $20, there's no reason for us to expect that this EV is going to be, $40, $50. I really think this is going to tank as well. And then, you have Lana's Aid, cool. You have Kieran. Buddy Buddy Poffin. Maybe this is a meta card. Someone let me know. To me, it does make sense. It's $40, so I imagine people are using it. Again, these Ogre Pond masks are just so bad, guys. Like I don't know who designed these and who thought this was going to be a good idea, but whatever. Just not a fan. Sinistra, again, this card's going to tank as well. Like this is going to be a $5 to $10 card, maybe even less. Dragapult EX is in meta right now, so that's why it's up there. Hisuian Growlithe, I do like this card. Obviously, it's paired with the Perrin. It will have some value, but again, I imagine this will be a $5 to $10 card, nothing crazy. Chansey will drop. Carmine, the regular supporter, will drop. But yeah, a lot of these cards just aren't going to be worth the money they're worth right now. Like, look, the Teal Mask Ogre Punch regular EX and Dragapult regular EX are on the front page of this set, a couple days after release at $10. Like, these are just regular EX cards in meta. So, if those cards are on the front page, basically on the third day, that kind of tells us there really isn't a ton of depth in the set. You look at the second page, not a ton of stuff going on here. Like Pinsir's already $6, Infernape's already $5.60, something like that. And again, these are really cool cards. Like I love this Pinsir. Like this is definitely a binder card or a collection card that you could pick up. It's definitely an older Pokemon. I really love the artwork, just the style of it, everything about it. It's very simple too. It's not overly exaggerated like this Infernape. Got a bunch going on there, but yeah, I mean there just isn't a ton going on in the set. No super big chase card. The waifu isn't as strong as stuff like Sun and Moon, so that's going to probably fall off from an investment standpoint. Greninja really is the only hope I see in this set, at least right now. It's about $150. We're going to have to watch, see what happens. Again, I don't think this is going to be a $200-$300 card. That it would absolutely shock me if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if it stays above $100, but I don't think it's going to go much higher than that. And if it does drop, I don't think it'll go much lower either. Again, time will tell, but Twilight Masquerade, it is what it is. Nothing super crazy. If we can get booster boxes in that $80, $90 range at some point, obviously I think it's going to be a good investment vehicle, but to invest in any of these singles at this point or to just go all in booster boxes into the set, especially at a higher price than like $90 to me, I think is just a bit crazy. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, if you think I'm just completely off on some of these cards, or if you agree with me, whatever, it is what it is. I actually don't own any Twilight Masquerade. I canceled my pre-orders of the ETBs just because I didn't like the promo. I didn't pre-order a case. I will wait, maybe around Black Friday if I can find a case around $80, $90 a box. I will get into Twilight Masquerade, but until then, or until I see a decent deal, I'm not going to be picking any up of this set. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.